Okay. 4 o'clock, yeah. Okay, hi there. It's Tim Mckibben here at the Tibetan Buddhist Society Antarctic Research Station. It's freezing cold here, and if we look out the windows, we can see emperor penguins going past in the blizzard. In actuality, we're in Euroke, and we don't turn the heating on in the temple until there's visitors coming to class, so we're pretty rugged up. There's a couple of light offerings today. The first one is for our Sydney director, Nancy, who has had major back surgery, and so we make prayers for Nancy's rapid recovery, and that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, we offer these beautiful lights to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, holy beings, and that they all send their healing energy and healing power, and Nancy very, very quickly, her back gets better and is pain-free, and and step by step, and Nancy attains pure illusory body, pure light-natured body, and eventually the Rupakaya, the form bodies of the Buddha. So we'll focus just for a minute on the offering for Nancy. And there's also a light offering made by Andrea for her father, Bob Fox, who's returned from hospital for rehabilitation. And so we send our goodwill and energy and beautiful light offerings, beautiful lights, sunlight, moonlight, rainbows, and so on, offering to all holy beings, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so that Bob has a very speedy recovery and returns to good health and has continuous good conditions and good health throughout all rebirths on his way to eventually attaining the peace and bliss of complete enlightenment. And we do the prayers on starting on page 19. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. Tampa Chandande Dishin Japa Tachampa Yantapa Sope Sanji Ripa Dan Japsu Dampa Dewa Japa Jitan Champa Chiba Jue Talo Dewa Nana Mepa Lada Minanji Tampa Sanji Chandande Pajawa Shacha Tupala Shatsala Chada Jatsu Chiwo. Teacher, Bhagawan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly pure and complete Buddha, all-knowing, having poise, Sugata, apprehender of the world, navigator of beings to be subdued, incomparable, teacher of gods and humans, to the Buddha, the Bhagawan, the glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, we prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Sangacha Danza Ti Janam La Tacha Bandhu Tani Tatsuti Tadi Denza Dipi Zananti Tama Bendi Sandi Tapajo. To the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I go for refuge until becoming enlightened. Through the merit of my generosity and so on, may I achieve Buddhahood to benefit all beings. To the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I go for refuge until becoming enlightened. Through the merit of my generosity and so on, may I achieve Buddhahood to benefit all beings. This ground, anointed with perfume and strewn with flowers, Mount Meru, the four continents, adorned with sun and moon, imagined as a Buddha land and offered thus, may all beings enjoy such pure lands. I prostrate my three doors with a mind of respect, and offer all actually arranged and mentally emanated offerings. I reveal all the downfalls and negativities that I have ever collected, and rejoice in the virtues of individuals and superiors. Please remain perfectly abiding until samsara is no longer seen. I request you to turn the vast and profound wheels of Dharma. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. Then the prayer of the lineage of gurus, from Guru Shakyamuni Buddha down to our kind root guru. Body born from 1,000,000 magnificent excellent virtues, speech fulfilling the hopes of infinite beings, a mind that sees all objects of knowledge precisely, I bow my head to the chief among the Shakyas, supreme sons of the incomparable teacher, carrying the load of all the conqueror's deeds, by their emanations appearing in countless realms. I prostrate to Maitreya and Manjushri. The mother of conquerors is difficult to fathom. The precise thought is in commentaries written by Jambavipa's ornaments, Nagarjuna and Asanga. I prostrate at the feet of those most renowned in the three realms. From these two great chariots come the excellent lineages of the paths of profound view and vast deeds. Their essential points gathered thoroughly and without fault. Prostration to the lamp holding this treasure of instruction. Giving explanation through compassion, by seeing precisely and completely the essential points of all paths of Sutra and Tantra. Holder of the conqueror's entire holy Dharma, prostrations to the glorious Losandrapa. I, seeing all the infinite teachings, supreme way of crossing for those entering the journey to liberation, moved by compassion to deeds skilled in method, prostrations to the spiritual masters who make everything clear. In the prayer of the path to enlightenment, the kind master is the basis of all qualities, and proper reliance is the root of the path. By seeing this excellence and through much striving, bestow blessings to be devoted with great respect. This gentle support of freedom, obtained this one time, is most difficult to achieve. Knowing its great value gives rise to a mind seizing its essence constantly, day and night. Bestow blessings to generate this continuum unceasingly. It is like a bubble in water, this constantly moving body and life. Thus remember the swift collapse of death. Beyond death, like body and shadow, white and black karmic results follow after. By gaining firm certainty in this, a mass of faults, subtle and very subtle, are abandoned, and the accomplishment of all virtuous collections completed. Bestow blessings to ever attain conscientiousness. The qualities of samsara are unfit to be trusted, the door to all suffering. Do not be content with these enjoyments. By knowing its defects, bestow blessings to develop a great aspiration for the bliss of liberation. By that pure thought, great conscientiousness is drawn forth, and mindfulness and awareness of the individual liberation, the root of the teachings. Bestow blessings to make this the essential practice. Just as I myself have fallen into samsara's ocean, all living beings as mother are also like that. By seeing the responsibility for the liberation of beings, bestow blessings to be trained in supreme bodhicitta. However, by merely generating the mind, if not acquainted with the three aspects of ethics, enlightenment will not be attained. By seeing this excellence, bestow blessings to train with strong effort in the vows of the conqueror's sons. Pacifying distraction toward perverse objects, by way of proper analysis of the perfect meaning, bestow blessings to swiftly and continuously generate the path related to the union of calm abiding and special insight, thus becoming a vessel trained in the common paths, enter the Vajrayana, supreme evolution of all vehicles. Bestow blessings to engage the easy path itself, that sacred way of crossing for fortunate beings. The base of practice for the two aspects of attainment is when guarding the pure vows of commitment is found to be genuine and certain, bestow blessings to protect them even at risk of life. Then by understanding properly the important points, which are the essence of the two stages of the Tantra classes, bestow blessings to practice according to these holy teachings with continuous effort in the supreme four-session yoga. Like that, may the spiritual friend revealing the gentle path and the friends of proper practice stand firm. Bestow blessings to quickly pacify the masses of outer and inner hindrances. In all rebirths may I never be parted from perfect gurus and the enjoyment of the glorious Dharma. By utterly completing all qualities, paths and grounds, may I quickly achieve the state of Vajradhara. So we'll continue with our meditation on Shakyamuni Buddha. I just want to read one verse from the fundamental potential for enlightenment. Money, are we on the laptop or on that? On laptop, okay. Geshe's book on Buddha potential, fundamental potential, it explains the presence of the Buddha, that the Buddha is all-pervading, and that's useful for our meditation on Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. Then, Lord Tsongkhapa recommends it as a samadhi, calm abiding object, as does Pabonka, and as does Geshe. All our samadhi retreats, we were using Guru Shakyamuni Buddha as the focal point of our concentration for some of the reasons I've given before. But we can also get that sense it's not just a visualization, is we're actually, the Buddha is present before us. And I'll read a verse. So this is from the Sublime Continuum. The Sublime Continuum of the Mahayana by Conqueror Maitreya. And he says, because the body of the complete Buddha is all-pervading, Because there is no difference in suchness, and because potential exists, all embodied beings are ever endowed with a Tathagata essence. So we're embodied beings, we have the Buddha potential, Buddha nature. And that first line, because the body of the complete Buddha is all-pervading. So I'll read a small bit of a commentary. First, all embodied beings are ever endowed with a Tathagata essence or Buddha potential, because the truth body's influencing activities pervade all living beings. So Geshe then talks in detail about the truth body's influencing activities. But basically, the omniscient mind of the Buddha, where the mind goes, also a subtle energy or wind also goes. So even our visualization is pervaded by the Buddha and by all Buddhas. So that can give us hopefully a little bit of confidence that it's not just our visualization we're working with. Anyway, so we start off with some meditation and letting go of any worries and any preoccupations, if we like, with the out-breath, because we've got lots of worries during this pandemic and in life in general, and lots of tension. So letting go of all that with the out-breath. And establishing a pure motivation, the supreme motivation of bodhicitta, to ensure your session becomes a cause, a direct cause of your enlightenment. And we can generate bodhicitta by contemplating this remarkable life we have now, and that its impermanence. In this cold wintry weather, if you go out in the dark with a wild wind and cold and wet, then it brings home that our secure life is quite fragile. And will definitely pass. And so to make the utmost use of this extraordinary situation, this excellent human rebirth, your perfect human rebirth, extraordinary leisure and fortune we have compared to most living beings. We determine to seize the essence, extract the essence. So therefore we determine to realize our Tathagata essence, our Buddha nature, the natural purity of mind. And to lead all living beings to discover this natural purity within. And lead all beings to enlightenment, complete, perfect enlightenment. So stabilize for a moment on bodhicitta. And then the following visualization is all in light nature. And I'll abbreviate, I won't say symbolized for each thing. So visualize from empty space in front of you, at the level of your forehead, appears a precious golden throne. In nature, the Buddha's omniscient mind, the basis of all Buddha manifestations. On top a white lotus, the realization of renunciation. On top, a beautiful moon disk mandala, the flat moon disk, realization of bodhicitta. And on top, a sun disk, the Buddha's perfect wisdom. On top arises Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, as he's depicted in the paintings and statues, radiant, light-natured, golden-coloured, radiating light in the 10 directions. His one face is smiling gently, compassionately towards you. The Buddha perceives the one nature of all phenomena, of all things, its emptiness. His right arm, great method. Left arm, great wisdom. Right hand resting on his right knee in the earth-touching gesture, indicating the power to dispel all negativity, and particularly lower rebirth, the suffering of the lower realms. The left, in the gesture of meditative concentration, holds a begging bowl in his lap, full of wisdom nectar that eliminates all delusion and especially all disease. Seated in the Vajra posture, he wears the 3 saffron robes of a pure monk, showing his ethics are completely pure. He has the 32 major and 80 minor marks of a perfect being. At his crown is a white om, Vajra body. At his throat, a red R, Vajra speech. At his heart, a blue hum, Vajra mind. And the form of his heart is surrounded by a mantra rosary, Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Ye Soha. So practice calm abiding, concentration on the image of the Buddha visualized in front of you for a minute or so. From the home and mantra rosary at his heart, white light emanates, making offerings to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, beautiful, perfect, delightful offerings. For example, the light transforms into the 8 auspicious symbols, the precious umbrella, the golden fishes, the great treasure vase, the gentle lotus, the right spiraling conch, the glorious endless knot, the victory sign, and the Dharma wheel, and also transforms into the 5 qualities of enjoyment, the mirror, the lute, the incense, the fruit, and the cloth. Beautiful, perfect offerings. All these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas then transform into wisdom beings, Guru Shakyamuni Buddhas. Limitless wisdom being Buddhas dissolve into the commitment being visualized in front of you, Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, and they become one. At this point, we feel it's not just my visualization, but this is in actuality Guru Shakyamuni Buddha manifesting in front, or in actuality my kindred Guru appearing as Guru Shakyamuni Buddha in front to bless me. So practice concentration on this image of the Buddha, in actuality the Buddha. So now we practice the realization of peacefulness, and we make requests to Guru Shakyamuni Buddha in front. On behalf of all living beings, surrounding us in the form of humans. So we make the request to this perfect enlightened being. You are a guru, you are the Buddha jewel, you are the Dharma jewel, you are the Sangha jewel, and you are our great protector. From now until enlightenment, release us from all negativity, all obscurations, hindrances, disease, suffering, lower rebirth, all negative karma, and so on. Make heartfelt requests to the Buddha. And from the home and mantra rosary at Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's heart, beautiful, cleansing, healing white light and white nectar comes down through your crown and through the crown of all living beings around, filling your body and filling your mind and washing out all negativity, all tension, suffering, obscurations, hindrances, disease, sickness, short life, and so on. And it's washed out through the lower parts of your body, through the orifices, through the pores of the skin, in the form of black light, dark impurities, if we like blood and pus, and so on. We can visualize this all being washed out and leaving us forever as it dissolves into the earth, disappearing forever. If you like, you can say Shakyamuni's mantra while you meditate on this. Om Muni Muni Maha Muniye Soha. 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 And now we feel we've achieved the realization of peacefulness. So now we practice the realization of increase. Now we make the request to Shakyamuni Buddha. I and all beings are poor in realization, and our faculties are dull. Through your great compassion, please bestow on us all realizations and the ordinary and superior powerful attainments. At this request, orange light and nectar emanate from the home and mantra rosary in Shakyamuni Buddha's heart and dissolve into oneself and all beings through the crown chakra, filling all with orange light and nectar. And we think, now we have received the realization of increase from Shakyamuni Buddha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Soha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Soha. So as you visualize the orange light coming down, Have a sense you're being filled with Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's compassion and love and wisdom and patience and so on, equanimity. Fill in your mind, fill in your body, beautiful orange light. And we feel now we have achieved the realization of increase of all our qualities, all realizations. From our kindred Guru, from Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. Then finally, golden light emanates from the home and mantra rosary at Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's heart, touching all living beings, transforming them into Buddhas. All these Buddhas then come back and dissolve into Shakyamuni Buddha visualized in front, who then comes to your crown and dissolves into you. And now you feel Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's Vajra body and my body are non-dual. Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's Vajra speech and my speech are non-dual. And Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's Vajra mind is enlightened mind. And your mind are non-dual. And we finish the meditation. So those meditations, page 54 of the prayer book, the various realizations, the ordinary powerful attainments, and so on. Okay, so now we're looking at, we're on calm abiding, and we've looked at the benefits of calm abiding. That's absolutely essential if we want to have the Dharma actually affect us rather than just be an intellectual pursuit. We have to develop our concentration and steep our mind in the Dharma, allow the Dharma to pervade our mind through developing concentration so we can bring it deep within. And it's the basis of all realizations on the path, developing our concentration. So it's an essential thing, and it's certainly something I don't feel I've ever taken seriously enough, spent too much time on the cushion daydreaming. But we're looking at the prerequisites of calm abiding, the 6 prerequisites, and we've looked at the first one, which is suitable place. So finding a place that's safe and there's food and Dharma instruction and so on. So the second one is little desire. So that might be one advantage of aging, of getting older, is that we've got less hormones charging around our systems, and maybe we've got a bit less desire than when we were teenagers. So desire is you see it arising on samadhi retreats, concentration retreats, as the mind starts to get bored and gets a bit frustrated because we're not getting stimulated in the way we normally do. We're not getting all the little comforts that we normally give ourselves, as in, you know, if I've got an itch, if I want to stretch, if I want to go and have a cup of tea, all the stuff we normally do because we want to. In meditation retreat, we try to focus just on the one object, and the mind can get frustrated, and often desire arises. So you do see people flirting a bit often on the second or third week of retreat. You can see the boredom, you know, the initial enthusiasm is waned a little bit, and so on. So, yeah, Geshe points out we can be grasping after all sorts of different things with this mind of desire. We might be grasping after better conditions, a better room. We don't like the room we're in, or if we're sharing a room, we don't like sharing a room with that person. They snore or whatever, they smell or whatever. So we might be grasping after a better mattress. I'm used to my mattress. I'm used to my pillow. I'm used to my own space. You know, might be like on Vajrayana retreats, you might be grasping after better religious paraphernalia because someone sitting nearby has got some shinier or more impressive stuff than yourself. So, yeah, whatever the desire is, it disturbs it removes the possibility of karma abiding because it fills our mind and takes us away. So the recommendation with desire is to focus on the renunciation type subjects. And for example, that fantastic verse from Shantideva, whatever I enjoy shall become a memory, and whatever has passed shall not be seen again. So recognizing all this stuff we're grasping after, we try and realize it can't sustain us. It's not worth the power of the object over us. It shouldn't merit so much power as we give things, because it can't sustain us in well-being, whereas calm abiding absolutely can. So, as well as little desire, Geshe said, don't try to be ascetic, as we'll get sick. And I'll quote for Shantideva. He said, first you should seek tranquil abiding, as in calm abiding, and this is accomplished through the joy of being without attachment to worldly objects. So if you read Engaging the Bodhisattvas, Shantideva is pretty hardcore with regards to calm abiding. He sort of exhorts people to head off into the forests, into solitude, and sort of says, what use of my obstacle-making friends, and this sorts of things. Fortunately for us, Geshe was not promoting such a tough line, even though that was actually Geshe's life, was very, very a complete hardcore commitment to Dharma and development. But fortunately for us, Geshe promotes, he gives us on our retreats plenty of breaks and social, because that helps some people calm down, and lots of food and stuff like that, so we can come back refreshed. So the third point or prerequisite is listed here, is contentment. So in similar vein to little desire, but contentment's more of a positive emotion, a sense that everything's okay, everything's good enough. So if we have contentment, then we're not troubled by the desire. it's not just a lack of desire, it's a positive state of mind. So we can recognize that there's no such thing as a perfect situation in psychic existence. We might sort of dream of this perfect time when we're going to really get stuck into the Dharma or really be able to practice calm abiding. But the truth is there's no perfect time, because either our body, we might have a cold, we might have the flu, might have this problem, that problem, or our mind's sort of got some issues or not very clear at the moment, or externally different challenges in our life. But so there's no such thing as the perfect situation. So we can try to be content with what we've got, particularly if we get the opportunity to practice Dharma, if we get the opportunity to practice calm abiding, whether at home or in retreat, then we should be, I think that's wonderful. So Geshe said we should be satisfied with mediocre food. So even if we're served chickpea and eggplant curry for breakfast, lunch and dinner, then we should endeavour to have contentment with that. Or else it sort of gnaws away at you. And Geshe said, on an oral teaching one time, he said, if just cold milk and muesli, that's all you've got, then that's fine. Or even, he said, just cat food. This is really a samadhi yogi tradition. If there was only cat food to eat, then you should be content. But don't worry, here we often serve dog food instead. So, yeah, have no fear. You won't be getting... No, we don't actually do that. So, yeah, if we don't have contentment, then it gnaws away at us that the conditions aren't good enough, or this annoying person in the retreat is breathing too heavily, or they're annoying, they sound a voice in the breaks, or their views, or, I'm used to having my sort of luxurious spa. But anyway, we need contentment. So to attain calm abiding, it's a prerequisite. Without it, we won't get calm abiding. Fourth one's a challenge as well. It's abandoning multiple activities. So if we look at our normal life, then there's lots and lots of activities we're doing. If we're working, we're rushing here, rushing there. If we've got family, if we've got children, then life's a non-stop rush. And even if we don't, we've probably got multiple activities just with our phone. So continuously checking the phone for news, checking it for a funny video, or for a WhatsApp message, or a Facebook post, or this, that, or the other. Always these activities and all this stimulation. And so our mind's rushing. So for calm abiding, we should only be doing what supports us having a calm mind, whatever that is. So if on retreat some social interaction's useful for a calm mind, then in the breaks we should have some social engagement, because otherwise it can become too intense, just your own mind. Whatever. Like on retreats here, I often get stuck into the gardening, because I find all the stretching in between and the fresh air and so on is very useful for when you come back to the cushion, you come back refreshed and rejuvenated. And if you don't have a good retreat, at least the garden's looking better. So whatever activity we're doing, we should do those that support our concentration. So everyone's a bit different. And Geshe used to give exercises for helping with concentration when we're getting a bit lungy, the wind. He gave one where you sort of do 100 squat thrusts, and you breathe out as you come out with your hand from your heart. You breathe out, you sort of let go of all the wind. And another one where you swing your arms, your chest around from side to side, and it sort of squashes the air out of. So that's sort of quite useful for those sorts of things as well. The fifth one's again a challenge. A lot of these prerequisites are internal qualities. The fifth one is pure ethics. So it's taught in the path of medium scope, in the path of enlightenment, in the three higher trainings. It's taught that ethics is the absolute foundation of concentration. Without good ethics, pure ethics, we won't be able to concentrate because our mind is too disturbed by all of the various destructive emotions and sort of harmful nonsense and anger and upset and worry and so on that's going on because of our because of our impure ethics, because of our harmful actions and crazy lifestyle. So, yeah, it's a foundation. So on concentration retreats, calm abiding retreats, we should endeavour to try and stay as peaceful as possible, try not to shout at people, and try to subdue angry thoughts and so on. Geshe again, try not to disturb other people's minds with arguments and so on. So Geshe, again, on one of his teachings, he said, in the samadhi retreats, we should try and be similar to a pure monk. So the five precepts, practicing at least 5 precepts, and so no killing, no stealing. And he said no sexual activity whatsoever, otherwise desire disturbs your concentration, and so on. And the 6th prerequisite, again, this is one that is asking quite a bit of us. It's abandoning disturbing conceptions. So, hands up everyone who's ever had a disturbing conception. Normally, sometimes in translations, delusions are translated as disturbing conceptions. They're conceptual minds that disturb us. Or thoughts that disturb us. So, and Geshe a lot used to talk about too much great desire, too much great hatred, too much superstition, too much imagination, too much projection. I've got this problem, I've got that problem. What's that person thinking about me? Did they say something about me? Blah, you know. In concentration retreats, if you overdo it or you're not experienced, then it's easy for the mind to become a bit disturbed. If you try too hard, sort of don't take breaks and overdo it. So we don't need disturbing conceptions, disturbing our calm abiding. So it's difficult not to have them in daily life. And maybe even more difficult in retreat when we don't have the normal comforts to help subdue our mind. Then, sometimes in retreat you see more of this stuff, and it becomes more apparent because you're watching your mind. So I'll just mention Tilopa's Mahamudra instruction. He gave 6 points specifically for Mahamudra meditation, but some of them are very relevant to that point, abandoning disturbing conceptions. So he said, don't recall the past because the past is gone. It doesn't exist now. Don't imagine the future. So don't spend your meditation worrying about the future or planning the future, because the future hasn't arisen. It's not existent. Don't think about the present. So what's going on now? We shouldn't be thinking about this, that, and the other. Just stabilizing on the image of Shakyamuni Buddha or our karma abiding object. So don't examine. This is more, I suppose, more Mahamudra instruction. But at the same time, we're trying to just stabilize on the image. We're not spending too much time examining the image or the qualities. With calm abiding, single-pointed concentration, the main focus is that single-pointedness on the image of the Buddha. Then don't control. So in Mahamudra, that's probably more relevant. But at the same time, if we try to control too much in calm abiding or concentration, then it becomes a distraction. So if we have the sense we're trying to perceive the Buddha appearing in front of us, rather than we're trying to construct this visualization of the Buddha, but if we have a sense we're just trying to perceive what actually is this omniscient presence of the Buddha, then I suppose there's less control. So the last one was just rest, but in calm abiding, we'll have to make effort. Certainly in the first stages, Geshe explains, there's a lot of effort involved in developing our concentration. So interestingly, those 6 preconditions for developing calm abiding, they don't include aspiration. And normally you would think aspiration is the one thing, in order to do anything, the one thing you absolutely need is the wish to do it, the aspiration to do it. Because then you make everything else happen if that wish is strong enough. But it is included in the 8 antidotes to the 5 obstacles. So we'll look at that. So aspiration is obviously essential as it's the antidote to the first obstacle. Anyway, now we're on page 800, and we're how to meditate on calm abiding. I'll just work across to page 800. How to meditate on calm abiding. I think Geshe has that in 2 sections, the preparation and the main practice. So the preparation is the foundation practice to get us into a state where there's any chance of us developing our concentration. And the main preparation, Geshe explains, is path to enlightenment practice. We absolutely need to have a foundation in the path to enlightenment. We need to have meditated on it, have some and thought about it a great deal, have some faith in the path to enlightenment, because there's lots of different reasons. It flows into our aspiration for calm abiding. You know, the reason we're practicing calm abiding is so we can gain these extraordinary qualities of the path to enlightenment and be of benefit to others. Also flows through to the antidotes. For example, antidote to excitement, and you need to subdue the mind. You need to focusing on impermanence, on death, on suffering, if the mind is distracted with excitement. And the same way, the antidotes to laxity, we need to inspire the mind. So we need to have confidence and faith in Buddha nature and our potential for calm abiding. Have faith that enlightenment's a reality, a doable thing. Calm abiding's a reality, doable thing. And aspire ourselves with other subjects like leisure and fortune or bodhicitta. So on the process of developing calm abiding, it's explained, we'll have seemingly endless laxity, seemingly endless excitement. So we absolutely need these antidotes. And to have the antidotes, we need the foundation of the path to enlightenment. So, Guru Geshe says, meditating from Guru Yoga to the fifth perfection, concentration, is and studying is the way to prepare the mind. On top of that, we need the 6 prerequisites. And then it said that we will gain calm abiding. If we have all of those things, we will gain calm abiding, definitely within 3 to 12 months, I think Geshe says. I think, and Babonka also says in Liberation, the palm of your hand. But of course, some of these prerequisites are internal qualities, internal realizations. So we absolutely need to focus on path to enlightenment. Additionally, Geshe mentions sitting meditations necessary for calm abiding. So lots of people say going for a walk's my meditation. If you go for a walk, often things come clear, the mind settles down, and I have a friend who focuses on the PhD when walking, and things come clear. But for calm abiding, there's too much distraction with all the movement. You have to be still. So walking meditation is not suitable for developing calm abiding. And the Path to Enlightenment mentions the 7-point posture of Varachana is the ideal posture, because Lord Tsongkhapa says it supports pliancy or suppleness. So it's ideal. That's the ideal posture. Most of us can't do that. Sitting in what's it called, full lotus position, and with the other points, dead straight back and so on. But one advantage for yogis is you can stay in that position for a long time. They can stay in that position for days and days. But however we're comfortable, as long as we have, main thing, we're comfortable and our back's reasonably straight, so the central channel's straight, and the energy can flow freely. I'll quote Lord Tsongkhapa in his 3rd volume of the Great Exposition on page 31. He says, it's especially important breathing, your breathing as part of this posture, breathing's included. He says, your inhalation and exhalation should not be noisy, forced, or uneven. Let it flow effortlessly, ever so gently, without any sense you are moving it here or there. Then on top of that, Geshe mentions the 7-limb prayer is a very useful preparation. So prostration, offering, confession, rejoicing, requesting, entreating, and dedication. So practicing those, they're good preliminary for any meditation, but also for calm abiding. And Geshe mentions especially bodhicitta motivation, because that inspires us to get through all the obstacles, and it empowers us, the bodhicitta, to keep going when we're bored and so on. And Geshe also mentions short, and these instructions are all coming from Konkrama Maitreya and through a Sangha, Shanti Rakshita, Lord Tsongkhapa. Calm abiding meditation should be short sessions, especially initially for us if we're new to it, then short sessions. It said sort of 20-minute sessions, and you can do 10 or 20 in a day, it's mentioned. So we tend to, because it keeps the mind sharp, you're trying to keep the mind sharp and not get jaded, not get bored. we tend to do longer sessions here on our retreats because of the logistics, getting a group together and so on. And then much longer breaks as well. So I'll quote again Tsongkhapa, page 107. He says, meditative serenity, which is another term for calm abiding, has the qualities of one, non-discursiveness, which is when your attention is intentionally set on a single object of meditation, it stays there. And two, clarity, it's free from laxity. And three, benefit, i.e. delight and bliss. So we're just seeking that single-pointedness or stability with clarity, and then naturally a joyous, blissful experience will arise. So very simple from that regard. Then page 802 in the Path of Enlightenment, Geshe looks at the main practice. And the main practice is, so I'll quote here from, I'm having deja vu because I actually do a pre-recording of these classes, and I feel I've taught this before, but I'm hoping I didn't teach this last week. I don't think we did anyway. So anyway, I'll carry on. So the main practice, we'll quote there, Maitreya explains how calm abiding will be attained in his discrimination of the middle and extremes. It arises from the cause of relying on the 8 activities, abandoning the 5 faults. So there's 5 obstructions and there's 8 antidotes. And the 5 obstructions are listed here: laziness, forgetting the obstructions, laxity and excitement, non-application and application. So they're the 5 faults. So the first fault is laziness. And this is where we're disinterested in practicing calm abiding, or we're bored, and it may be before we actually even sit down and meditate. It may be before we're thinking about going to a retreat, we decide not to. We think about meditating at home, we decide not to. Or maybe when we're actually on the cushion meditating and we're still, we're feeling lazy, so we just daydream. We don't practice calm abiding. And it's described, and the reason we don't enjoy it. We don't enjoy it, or we enjoy something more. So Geshe describes it can be the 3 types of laziness. So laziness of procrastination, that's we always put it off. We're sitting down meditating, we're going to focus on the image of the Buddha, but we put it off because it's such a relief just to be able to let the mind wander. I've been so busy, I just want to wander. And we've all probably done lots of that. The other laziness of desire for meaningless activity. So again, that just enjoying the mind dwelling on things we find attractive or attached to. Or desire of thoughts of incapacity. So this is the laziness of saying, I can't do this. And according to the Buddha, and according to Kongra Maitreya, according to Asanga, according to Shantirakshita, according to Lord Tsongkhapa, and according to Geshe Acharya Thubten Loden, we all have this capacity to develop our concentration. So, that's why it's called laziness. It's not true. And Geshe says it's the worst obstacle because it just prevents us creating the causes of calm abiding, stops us meditating. And it can cause a decline in your concentration If we develop to some degree, then we get lazy and drift off our concentration. And it's because we don't value calm abiding enough. We need to focus on the benefits. We really need to get the sense of what it would just imagine personally what it would be like. The next obstacle is forgetfulness. So forgetfulness, I'm sort of at the stage of life where if I can find my keys, I can never find my garden hat. And if I can find my hat, I can never find my keys. So this is more to do with forgetting what the object is or forgetting what the instructions are. So we might be able to remember what the object is, but then we forget what are the antidotes to distraction. What's the antidotes to excitement? What's the antidotes to laxity or sinking? And so on. So what we need to do is to thoroughly acquaint ourselves with the object and acquaint ourselves with the methods. So then when we do go to meditate, we haven't forgotten them. The next two are laxity and excitement. So that's the next one, laxity and excitement. They're the big ones. So for the yogis, like the 9 stages are all about overcoming our laxity and excitement. So I'll quote again from Lord Tsongkhapa. He quotes Chandra Gomin in Praise of Confession, and Chandra Gomin said, "If I use exertion, excitement arises. If I abandon it, slackness ensues. It is hard to find the right balance in this. What should I do with my troubled mind?" So, Geshe here in the commentary, he distinguishes distraction from laxity and excitement. So distraction can be distraction towards a negative, you could be a negative state of mind distracting you. You can be upset or angry. It can be a neutral state, or it can be a positive state. You're meditating on the image of a Buddha, and then you start thinking about compassion, or your mind drifts away from the object because it's thinking about impermanence. So that's general distraction. Whereas excitement is where the mind moves towards something it finds attractive. So Geshe defines excitement as an unsubdued mental factor that through attachment, then the mind strays to an attractive object. So, and Tsongkhapa and the Sangha, they say, the mind is unquiet and scattered outwards due to craving. And excitement's harder to control than other distractions because we actually enjoy dwelling on things things we like. We like to just think about them. You know, it's sort of pleasurable to think about something we like or are attracted towards or attached to. So for that reason, it happens sort of very naturally. And for that reason, it said that excitement's harder to control than other delusions. You know, we can overcome our anger is an obstacle to calm abiding, but it's not such a pleasant state to be dwelling in. So we overcome it more easily compared to excitement. And also, I guess she makes the point that virtue is not considered attachment, so it's not excitement. Yeah, there's somewhere here. So So gross excitement is said we lose the object completely. So we're so enthralled, we start to think about COVID, then we start to think about Daniel Andrews, say. It just naturally comes to mind, and North Face jackets come to mind because he's always wearing one. Then we think about the Himalayas, and then we think about the butter tea we tasted when we were in Nepal. And we've completely lost the image of the Buddha. So that's gross excitement. Tsongkhapa on page 55 says, failing to recognize lasting excitement after you become distracted due to forgetting the object of meditation is much worse than failing to quickly recognize lasting excitement while not forgetting the object. So this gross excitement's much worse. We lose our meditation completely. Subtle excitement is we don't lose the object, and Geshe describes we have a clear focus, and we're still holding the object, but part of the mind is moving away. So, and it's like a subtle part of the mind, or I don't know, if you'd say a subliminal part of the mind is drifting away towards something else. And the image that's given is the movement of water under ice. So the ice is like the main part of our mind is still static on the meditation object, but then underneath that, there's this movement going away, and we've got subtle excitement. So I don't know if it's sort of equivalent to mindfulness and awareness, like we have mindfulness of the object, but awareness is a small part of our mind is watching out for distractions. Sort of, there's two parts of the mind, but yeah. So excitement, our mind's focusing on two things basically. Then yeah, that's excitement. Those are the two issues. So gross laxity is said the mind, with laxity, we don't lose the object. So with gross laxity, the mind is stable and on the object, but it's not clear, there's no clarity, because laxity is often described as sinking or too much going inwards. I think that means like when you're falling asleep, your mind dissolves inwards. So yeah, the object's not clear. And subtle laxity, Geshe describes here, it's we're on the object's clear, we have clarity, but not really vivid, or the fine focus isn't there. It's not a gripping, intense clarity. So, and it said subtle laxity is hard to recognize. People think they've gained calm abiding, but they've got stability, they've got clarity, but they haven't got this vividness. Yeah. So, yeah. Pabonka gives an example of that vividness. He said, for people with not very strong guru yoga, then most of the time the focus on their guru, it's not like this vivid, inspirational thing in the mind, but occasionally they generate this faith, and it's like a really vivid, powerful image. Yeah, and so that's the way he distinguishes subtle laxities, like without that really, I don't know, potency or vividness of the image. So, yeah. So we're sort of lucky that Geshe has put this very clearly on page 804, exactly what are the obstacles to meditation, because this is the key stuff for us to develop our meditation, these instructions, and they're very easy to read here. Like Tsongkhapa's great expositions are much harder to read. But Geshe's put it very, very clearly, so we are lucky. But again, I'll quote from Tsongkhapa. He said, "It is easy to recognize excitement, but laxity is hard to comprehend, since it is not clearly identified in the authoritative classic texts. Laxity means that the way of apprehending the object of meditation is slack, and it does not apprehend the object with much vividness or firmness. Kamala Shila's second stages of meditation, when your mind does not see the object vividly, like a person born blind or a person entering a dark space, or like having one's eyes shut, then recognize your mind has become lax." And there's a distinction between laxity and lethargy. I think Geshe makes that distinction on the top of page 804. He says gross laxity is quite different to sleepiness, whereby the object of concentration is totally lost in the fog of unconsciousness. So with laxity, whether it's gross or subtle, we don't lose the object. It's the clarity or vividness. Yeah. So, yeah, how are we going for time? Oh, we're just about out. Okay. And I'll just read one more quote from Tsongkhapa. He said, "A Sangha's compendium of knowledge, what is lethargy? The heaviness of the body and heaviness of the mind, which are the unserviceability of the body and unserviceability of the mind." So we're trying to gain this good concentration, stability, clarity, but clarity with vividness, with life. So the Dharma becomes a very potent thing for us. And yeah. And so we're after clarity and remaining on the object, basically. And laxity is the opposite of clarity, and excitement is the opposite of staying on the object. So it boils down to sort of two things, really: staying with clarity on the object. So I should really wrap up here, because I might very quickly do non-application. Non-application is when we don't apply the antidotes. So we don't take our medicine. There's medicine to cure the disease. As Shantideva said, what use is there complaining about still being sick if we only read our prescription, you know? And if we don't apply the antidotes, because within our mind, again and again and again, in training and karma avoiding, we will have to apply antidotes to whatever's happening. So we need to, apply the antidotes. And also we can't separate our lives from our meditation. So the antidotes also apply to the way we're living our life. If you've ever tried meditating after a heated argument and it's going through your mind, if you don't sit down and focus on the breath and think, I just churn through, the mind's disturbed right through the meditation. So we need the antidotes. And Asanga explains in the levels of the yogic deeds, Tsongkhapa points this out. He details specific causes of laxity and specific causes of excitement or an ill discipline in life. So even outside of our meditation, Asanga says, not restraining the sensory faculties, not eating in moderation, too much sleep, not enough practice in the early and late parts of the night, lack of vigilance, deluded behaviour, lack of disenchantment, as in renunciation, being unskillful, lacking joyous effort, etc. So these are all causes of, they're all sort of not applying antidotes in our daily life that will support our concentration. As Tsongkhapa says, if you recognize those causes and try to stop them, this is obviously very helpful for interrupting laxity and excitement. Maitreya's separation of the middle and extremes says that failing to do this is a fault of concentration called non-application. And the last fault is over-application. So when our mind's free of laxity and excitement, then breaking away from our concentration and applying antidotes is a mistake at that point. So they're the 5 obstacles to calm abiding. And we'll look at the next session. We'll look at the 8 antidotes, how to really cultivate our concentration, and in doing so, be able to traverse the path to enlightenment. So we'll just wrap up with the final prayers. Is it? Yeah, I'll just do because I've gone over a bit. I'll just do the general dedication on page 34. By this virtue, may all beings complete the collections of wisdom and merit, and attain the 2 holy bodies arisen from wisdom and merit. May the precious superior mind of enlightenment be generated in those who have not yet generated it, and not decrease in those who have developed it, but increase continuously. So thanks, everyone. I think there's a 2-week break now because what is there? There's a Father's Day, and there's the prayers commemorating Geshe's passing. That's next week. So there's not path to enlightenment for the next 2 weeks, but there's good opportunity to check out this section on calm abiding from Geshe, and anyway, thanks everyone for listening in. I'll just see if there's any. Oh, there's questions. Deb's asked a question. Contentment. Does contentment have an element of surrender to it? Surrender to being satisfied that life is unfolding as it should, with karma playing out and opportunities opening up to us. I reckon that's very nice, Deb, and I think you've answered your own question, really. I think it's really a good description of being acceptance of life and content with life, that your life as it is. So, I think that's a fantastic point, and I haven't got anything to add, really. There's a question about a link to the site. If you found session webinar, show how to link back to your website. A link to our website. The website's Tibetan Isn't it, Money? Hey, Money. Yeah. Tibetan isn't it? So it's all one word, Tibetan Buddhist Society.org. That's the, yeah. So, yeah, all right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week and stay safe from the bug and so on. Stay warm. Thank you. Thanks, Money. What's the idea with that, man? What's that for?
It's just a test. It's a nice image, isn't it? It's a nice big image of the for the retreat. Yeah.